Welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and slice the wings off of ties. The Star Wars movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson. My website is alexrobinson.fun.
And I'm Katharine Coldiron from kcoldiron.com.
Yeah, thanks for coming and closing out the week with us, Katharine.
I'm very happy.
Well, as are we. You're happy that you're done. Your contract to do 5 episodes is over, and you're like, finally, it's Friday. I can get out of here.
I didn't sign any
Let's
contract.
just wrap this up. Oh, okay. The droid at the door should have gotten you. But regardless, we're here to talk about minute 40 of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Minute 40 starts with Rey stopping to turn away from a ship that's approaching. And it ends with Rey stopping a ship that's approaching. So, that's departing, rather.
That's a bit of a simplification of the minute, but we can go with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. But yeah, mostly it's the bit from the teaser where we saw that, and I have to admit that I was convinced based on the visual evidence presented in this and the way that it flowed. When I saw the teaser, I'm like, oh, this is from like a vision or a dream or something that Rey has within the movie, because there's that lightsaber is broken. She can't have that. And Kylo Ren's helmet was like, it looks like it's back together, but this just could be and like she's doing a crazy flip. None of this is real. And then lo and behold, they drop it right into the not even the middle of this movie. As is.
I'm really torn. This whole sequence seems at once very kind of corny and silly, but on the other hand, it's really cool. So I guess I have to fall in favor of my rule is if it's cool, it rules. So I have to keep it in. But it's just kind of a weird, like they're clearly not trying to kill each other. You know what I mean? Like, if he wanted to kill her, he would just be like going, doo, 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 shooting as he was approaching her, rather than just kind of
his mom.
Like, kind of, I don't know what his plan is to just kind of like.
Well, he says later that he's testing her.
Oh, he's testing her. I
could
have killed you, but I was testing you.
Which is a garbage thing that God says to people that he teases. So, yeah, you're right. They're not trying to kill each other, but I feel like it's the same. To me, a very powerful moment in cinema is when, at the end of Kill Bill, she kills him. You know, she does the 5-point palm exploding heart technique, and he doesn't get up. And they have this conversation for a while before he gets up to go walk away and accept that he is dead. And I think that there's part of her that doesn't want him to die and doesn't want that relationship to be over. And I feel like there's a similar thing going on between very different context, but this feeling of like, I don't actually want you to be dead. I want to defeat you, and I want you to sort of see it my way. I want you to be the kind of friend that I want you to be, as opposed to yourself. But actual death is, I don't think, what either of them wants from the other.
I just want to battle you into agreeing with me.
Yes. And I mean, accepting the fact that that's what we're trying to do to Pete in this season, it's also like that's an interesting relationship, and that means that they have to find new ways to battle each other that are non-fatal. Like that is an interesting writing problem to solve, and I like it.
But sure, we know just from the fact that it worked out that it. Obviously, there were ways that it works out, but it doesn't seem like he was leaving a lot of wiggle room for. It does seem like he was just, driving real fast right at her, and knowing that maybe that it's the dyad thing. Maybe they kind of like this is more like a figure skating maneuver. You know what I mean? Yeah. Than an actual like hit and run attempt. But
well, I think if she had screamed and fallen flat to the desert, then he would have been like, okay, this isn't working out. But then, they wouldn't be testing.
Or if he had just hit her, she like panicked and he just like, boom.
She's on the windshield.
Oh, yeah, right.
She's on the windshield.
Right, yeah.
I think you can only assume that that's not going to happen. And yeah, it's amazing that I just want to remark that you guys gave me the the teaser minute, and I'm very grateful to you for that, because I think a lot of us fans watched this and went, "Oh, hell yeah!" And I'm not in love with how it is in the movie, but it's just thank you.
You are welcome.
I like also that this is split. We'll talk about the stuff in the movie in a minute. But where do you remember seeing this? Where were you? Where did you watch the trailer first? And where did you watch the movie? We didn't even talk about that.
Oh yeah. But. Well, I watched the trailer probably on my computer with my headphones on and the volume turned up as high as it would go. And it's always a toss-up whether I choose to watch trailers for stuff that I really love and am really anticipating. Like, I didn't watch the Force Awakens trailer at all. I just walked into it.
That's willpower.
Yeah, I mean, I really, yeah. And I loved it. I loved what it implied about Rey's power and how that seemed to be echoing the turn, what happens to Luke between Empire and Jedi. But I also, I was surprised by the pacing of it. As for the movie, I saw it, at midnight with my husband, and I don't know how deeply we're going to get into it, but the movie broke my heart. And because of that, I never watched it again until this past weekend.
At what point did you realize your heart was being broken?
It was when Natalie Portman said, "You're breaking my heart." No, it was somewhere in the third act. Something about the way that I don't know how to explain this. Because it was a growing feeling. The number of things that were resurrected and made anew that had been destroyed in The Last Jedi made me feel like I was watching a sitcom version of this thing that had been like church to me. And so to see, Kylo making his mask again, and the fact that the Skywalker lightsaber is being used again as if it was never broken, and just all these things that just got negated over and over again that I thought were good choices, was so frustrating and disappointing that I walked away feeling like a broken fan. Not a literal spinning blade fan. I mean, like a fan of Star Wars, like as if someone had taken my fandom and broken it in half and put it back into my body. And I know that sounds just wildly dramatic, but I cannot...
Smashed it into pieces and then had it reforged by a Sith chimp.
like I said, I know this is ridiculous because it's a movie series, but this...
I mean, that's why we're here.
I know. And I know that a lot of people listening will understand how I'm feeling, so it's easier for me to say it. But it just feels like this is a thing that was like closest thing in my life to a religion. So to have it interpreted in a way that I thought was so profoundly untrue to what had been made just hurt me very badly. And I'm not the kind of person where I'm going to be like railing against everything online. That's not the kind of fan I am. But you asked and I will give you a direct answer. This movie really broke my heart.
Wow. Did your husband like it?
Well,
no.
Oh, no, neither. Oh, boy. It's been a quiet ride home.
No. Yeah, right. Like, we got divorced over this. No. After this past time when we watched it this last weekend, we were talking about all the ways that this movie is not problematic in the sense that we mean it in 2023, but has all these problems. And how would we fix them? What would we do? And we decided we would just like start again. Like I've said many times that I think if you had a really good editing machine, you could probably turn Attack of the Clones into a good movie, even if it's only 45 minutes long. But this movie, you just have to start over. And it just makes me sad.
Did you, by any chance, read the alleged Colin Trevorrow script?
No, but Pete, you're reading it, aren't you?
I was looking at it. I forgot to keep up with that. I got more into the novelization. But I downloaded it and I have it, but I haven't kept up with it because it's hard to, it doesn't flow one-to-one. Like the novelization is a lot easier for me to be like, oh, and then in this part, here's some more information. But that is just kind of like, well, this is different.
It's not like parallel scenes or anything like that.
Recently that I don't know where this came from, but somebody was implying that even going back, that the Carrie Fisher situation created complete, like, vast changes in everything. That was the original, like, even down to the Palpatine wasn't even going to be in it before, and all this other stuff that was
Well,
I don't know, interesting to note.
yeah, I mean, my understanding is that this was supposed to be Leia's movie, where you had, the first
Right.
one is we say goodbye to Han, the second one we say goodbye to Luke, the third one I'm assuming we're going to say goodbye to Leia. And I respect that means that they had to kind of scramble to do something. But I think that the solutions they came up with are not acceptable. And if I were a teacher, I would be like, no, rewrite this paper. You have to start over. I know that your main book turned out to be a hologram, but you have to find other books.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, I'm not one to say that it doesn't have problems. I'm not blindly being like, yeah, I love this, but nothing's wrong with it. But for some reason, the problems are never. If only they'd thrown in a tentacle monster, I would have been on your guys' side. But for some reason, the problems are not enough for me to be like, I don't like that. I'm just like, well, yeah, I probably wouldn't have done that, but I'm still on board.
Right.
And it just, I don't know.
There are things I love about this movie. I love the feeling of adventure that you get out of it. The pace of it is like, you've said this before, but it just never lets up. And I like that. And I like some of the lore that they introduce is good. I think that the Sith lore that they introduce is way too much. Like, you should have a whole other movie to explain why you have these millions of Star Destroyers. But I was telling Alex that I feel like the high highs and the low lows of this movie are very difficult for me to resolve. And how much I think Rey becomes the hero that she's meant to become is tremendous. And the way that she and Kylo Ren interact is really great. And I love all that. But there are other things about it that I just can't forgive or let go of.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, now I'm going to
join us next time.
I'm going to shift gears into a more just picking fun at picking fun. Yeah. Nitpicking and having fun with the movie. In that, what do we think is going on inside this TIE fighter when it crashes like that?
I feel like it would had to if a non-Force user would have been killed in that. This is the equivalent of Indiana Jones hiding in the refrigerator to escape the atomic bomb.
Right.
Or the barrel. Isn't there a barrel rolling down a hill scene in Indiana Jones somewhere?
Oh.
But no, it is like the fridge. You're right. Because I figure it's, like being in a dryer.
Yeah.
No.
He's got to be going at least 200 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like a very serious car accident he's in.
Yeah. A while ago, and not in the, what is it? I guess it was in The Force Awakens when we saw like a TIE fighter get, in that scene where they're trying to escape Jakku and they're in the Falcon and they blow up a TIE fighter. We see the kind of thing rumbling along. On our show, we talked about that with Josh Flanagan. That like what's going on inside there for that one? Are there airbags or something? Like how is this? And it's, I guess, easier to explain Kylo Ren is fine than it is to just, see
the Force.
If this was obviously, 80s cartoon like G.I. Joe or something, you'd see the guy get out and be like, oh, my head. After a horrible explosion. Because it rolls, and then explodes, like, violently. And so then, if it's the A-Team or G.I. Joe, then you'd obviously see the other, Kylo Ren or somebody get out and be like, oh.
I mean, I'm curious if there was some kind of eject that we didn't see. They probably should have put it on the screen if there was, but I think you're right that if it hadn't been Kylo Ren, he would have exploded. But there's a faint chance that he ejected like over the hill and we didn't see it, or so I don't know what.
Flung way far away.
Yeah.
He's in orbit of, Princess Leia survived being in a vacuum for a few minutes. So maybe whatever that power she used to kind of protect herself, he was able to kind of put a force bubble around himself.
So did Dave Bowman, but he's not. I don't know. I wouldn't see him explode. What do you think? I hate throwing out these hypotheticals that I don't want to see, but I'm like, what if he did this? I don't want to see these things. But what if he was like about to explode and then in the last minute reached out through the dyad the same way he grabbed the necklace, but pulled himself back through, and he ended up standing next to Rey over back like, a couple hundred feet before where he crashed.
That's silly. That
is silly.
That's too magic-y.
I don't want to see that.
I'm picturing like that Skeletor meme where he walks through the window and then reaches back and breaks the window that he just walked through somehow.
Exactly that.
I mean, yeah, no, I think that the Force connection that they have is better not explained. Like, over-explaining that would not be great. I do think the movie takes unfair advantage of it in a couple of ways. Like, I'd like to see what it looks like from... They did this better in Last Jedi. I'd like to see when she's looking at him in his quarters or whatever, what does she see? Does she see him standing in the environment like that she's in? What? And I feel like the movie asked this question in a way that it begged an answer. Because of that, I feel like it's tricky to say, what would you do if you had the Force connection between them? If you could, grabbing the necklace is like about as far as I'm willing to go with their connection.
Right.
It
necklace, the
starts,
raindrops. There's something else. There's something else that physically moves between spaces.
It starts to,
we'll get there.
It starts to strain credulity to like how big of a thing could he,
Yeah.
So I'm saying he could jump through.
Yeah.
To save himself from exploding.
It's not a transport
throw
conduit.
a baseball at her? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the less said, the better with it. To just let it be a every once in a while mystical thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. And I think, for him to survive he was obviously not going to die in the crash, and she was obviously not going to die if he hit her with the TIE fighter.
Well, now I'm picturing he hits her, she dies, and then the ship crashes and explodes, and he dies, and everybody else is standing around like,
roll credits.
They got Chewie.
Directed by George Lucas.
Yeah. Finn's like, well, what am I going to shout now? Come on. That's the rest of my dialogue.
If they wanted to do some ring theory, this would have been the perfect time to have Kylo Ren get burned and hideously scarred in an explosion. You know what I mean? Like he could stand up and he's all burnt and charred the way Anakin was. And then he'd have an
excited
excuse.
About it. Yes! Oh, check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome!
Yeah.
To the Knights of Ren, he's like, guys, Blundar, or whatever your name is, check it out. Look, I'm all burnt.
I have a physics question.
Okay.
Wait, did we not do a Knight of Ren yesterday?
No, we did one yesterday.
Okay.
I don't think we've done one today, or maybe we didn't.
Okay.
I don't know.
We didn't do one today yet, but did we do 4 already? Okay.
So she
what
turns
was your
and
physics
runs
question?
In the direction that the TIE fighter is going. Is that building up? Like, what is she doing there? Like, why is she running in the same direction that it's going?
I don't understand
then
why.
It's that much, relatively, then their speeds are close. She's taking a little bit off the opposing speed.
So that when she flies, she does the flip overhead, she doesn't just like whoosh past it. Is that right?
Yeah, because then when she jumps up, she's still moving in the same direction that it is, where she was standing still and she jumped up and then she would miss it completely.
Yeah, I feel like it would be more impressive if she just was standing still. And
if she just stood there with the lightsaber in front of her and
that would be cool too, but if she just did the flip without running in that direction, it feels Tom Cruise-y, like, one of the truisms of movie making is that actors like to prove that they can run, and I feel like this is a version of that. But maybe it's just to me, I'm not sure if they were putting it in for people who know more about physics and movement than I do, or what.
That seems hard to imagine them going that extra mile to suddenly make something very like physically,
especially because it seems like it's an extra like quarter of a mile.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and that thing's got to be going like 200 miles an hour, and she's running like what, 15 miles an hour, 20 miles
At
an hour.
best.
Like,
Yeah.
it would not really contribute a tremendous amount to. I mean, well, she does have force running, so maybe that is a bit faster
Thank
than
God
a
we
human,
didn't
so.
see that like a little blur.
She's running like Superman right next to it. Pull down
Or the
your
Flash.
window! Pull down your window!
And there's little Lois Lane on the.
Well, we did see Luke. We did
I-
see Luke do the standing still and cutting the the speeder bike in Return of the Jedi. It's a similar type of.
But it's moving
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
slower. That thing was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it didn't really
I
matter
think it's-
where he hit it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I
Now I
think
wish he
it's
just held it
so
up
they're
and the whole
both
thing
facing
just-
the same direction. Right?
Yeah.
So that, like, camera-wise, it's like, well, now they're
yeah.
both facing the same
That's
direction,
true.
so we don't have to do, shot, reverse shot, or we don't have to look at her back. We can just have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's bearing down on her. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And
And
I
it turns into, what's it called? What am I thinking of? What's the famous thing? Oh, gosh. Never mind.
okay. I want to remark without much criticism that for her to cut through the TIE fighter like that is maybe not consistent with what we know about lightsabers. I don't care because it's so cool, but I just feel like if it takes Qui-Gon minutes to cut through that door just by holding the lightsaber in place, how can she whoosh through it like butter? Again, I don't care. I just want to
Force.
remark that, of course, right, the Force. That's not how the Force works.
Shifting gears a bit, this is where Finn informs us and Rey that Chewbacca has been kidnapped or arrested, or however you want to phrase it. He says, they got Chewie. They got him. For some reason, I think it's funny. He says, they got him.
They got him. Like, they pranked him. Which, I guess, in the sense they did. They pranked everybody, but...
Yeah, that's true.
The way
So
she
it's-
shoots out her hand immediately
Mhm.
bugs me. Like,
You wish it was
there's
more
very
gradual.
little. No, it's not that. It's just like I'm gonna fix this,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and I just don't. I don't know. I don't like it.
Do we
Force
think
creep.
Rey has pulled a ship out of has she pulled down a flying spaceship before, or is this the first time
No.
she's attempting this little trick?
I doubt that she has.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think... Although it is, I mean, I guess they could
She
have...
seems very confident. She doesn't hesitate about doing it at all. Just like you said. she
Exactly.
instantly
That's
puts her
the
hands up,
thing
so.
about it.
Because
Yeah.
they don't really, like, hit on this at all. It's, I mean, subtle, and normally I'm all for subtlety, but maybe like an extra hint of, like, because she's right there. The ship that her whole life she's been flashing back to, there's a ship going away and she's reaching out for it, wanting it to not go away. That ship is right there.
Ah.
And then here's another ship flying away that she doesn't want to go away, and she's reaching out for it and then has power to stop it now. But they don't, they're not hitting you over the head with that, but maybe they could have a little bit. They could have just massaged your head with it a little bit.
No, yeah, I think that we would need like another shot, or maybe another flashback, or a longer shot, or something between. The timing of it doesn't quite work if that's the case. I totally buy that, but I also feel like she just accomplished something really extraordinary. And so to immediately be like, "Oh, I'm going to do this other thing that no one's ever done before." Like I don't know, would she do that? She doesn't seem like the kind of person who would immediately just, you've just completed a gymnastics move that no one has done since Nadia Comaneci, and you're going to now immediately go on the parallel bars and try to, like, really? Maybe you would take a break? Have
Somebody
a beer?
Yeah.
rolls out a skateboard and she does like a 900 to, like,
Exactly.
like she goes out
It's-
and does.
A lot.
Very unlikely.
I like the idea of it being paralleled with her. If they had cut to a reverse shot and had her reaching up the way when we've seen that Rey flashback of her going, no, like that, I feel like that would have kind of at least let you know it was an intentional thing. So I almost feel like it was, I'm not sure if it was intentionally a callback to that moment or not, but
The
I like
angles
the
are
idea of
similar,
it.
but they're not similar enough to be, they're not similar and unique enough to really make that connection. But I do love that connection.
I'm actually not opposed to Rey. I think it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, we're assuming Rey's powers are now just stampeding away with increasing all the time. I feel like that's kind of like a natural. It's a natural outgrowth of powers that she's already exhibited, of telekinesis or whatever. It's kind of just cranked up to 100. So
I guess I just if I had force powers, if I had force powers, and if I had just done the backflip and cut the X-wing into thirds, or sorry, the TIE fighter into thirds, the way that she had just done, my first reaction when I saw a ship speeding away would not be, "Oh, I can pull that thing down." It would be, "How do I get on there? How do I chase it? How do I, like it just seems." It seems unlikely that she would think of it and think she could do it all in one breath.
I don't know that she thinks that she can pull it down. I think she was just reaching out to try to stop it, just in a
like instinct.
With no expectation of being able to do anything. She was just like reaching out to try to stop it, and then it's kind of the manifestation of her ability stops it, and then it's like, oh, okay, now I've got this. Like,
in my headcanon, it's kind of like an adrenaline thing. She just did that crazy gymnastic stunt where she cut the thing, and now she's totally hyped up on midichlorians, where she's just kind of like,
right.
Oh no! Do we think midichlorians have a narcotic effect? Oh no!
Totally, her eyes get all.
It's heroin.
Oh. Okay, all right, I can go with that. Okay. I'll allow it.
Midichlorians save the day.
She what if she had just Jedi jumped up there and then flipped and cut that in half too? If she was just in that mode stuff, she like jumped up and cut the transport in half. And
that
then
seems
like Ray, and then she like jumped down and cut Ochi's ship in half because it was like, no, Ray, stop, and she was just like off on this, so like cut ship.
This is
what.
Every problem looks like a ship,
and
every solution looks like a lightsaber cutting it in half.
Would you have been more okay with it if she reached out and said, "You will land the ship right where you will return the ship to the ground, like use the mind control on the pilot"? Would that have been more of acceptable?
Probably a little more.
They can't hear her technically, but
I also,
on the radio.
The problem with that is that we're in a sequence that's for overseas audiences, right? Like, not a lot of dialogue here. You have to communicate things with filmmaking instead, and so for her to say something at that time would be a little off. I
see. Yeah, the grim realities of the marketplace.
Speaking of people saying things, I know we joked about it, but this is a prime example. Finn just runs out shouting, "Ray, Ray!"
Yes,
it's like Chewie. Like, it should just eliminate all the verbs and everything from his dialogue. It should be like, Ray, Chewie. He's like a backwards Pokemon. All I can do is say other characters' names.
Hodor.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of grim and gritty, let's take a look at our final Knights of Ren of the week, shall we?
Sure.
Today's nominee is Aplek. You could see here, in a way, he's almost the most.
He is a duck.
Evil look. He looks almost more like a ring wraith. Again, continuing the sort of Lord of the Rings theme here.
Well, and the axe, I wanted to say, the axe that one of them has, it's in a pan shot, looks a lot like one of the dwarf axes from Loader.
Yeah.
Specifically more from the TV show than from the series, but yeah, that axe. Yep.
Well, that's not just any axe, of course. That is a Mandalorian executioner's axe. And it's made out of Beskar. So there we go, a little tie-in with the Mandalorian universe. Whereas most of the knights prefer a straightforward and violent approach to eliminating their targets, Aplek revels in deception. On his belt is a smoke dispenser that obscures vision and disrupts sensors. I like that he has a smoke bomb. Then he runs away.
And then comes out with the axe.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, Aplek, the Axeman.
Aplek.
It does seem like these were actually written by the knights, like in a playbill or something, where it's just like Aplek is a master of deception and is happy to be a part of the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, exactly. Like his playbill credits. This is his first appearance in a festival.
He thanks his mother for helping him submit his application to the Knights of Ren.
That would totally undercut his coolness if he thanked his mom
Right.
in his credit.
Well, that's how. I
Well, that's all I have
whenever
for a minute 40.
Okay.
What were you saying, Catherine?
I was just going to say, whenever I go to a play and it's like, the villain is the one who has this very bouncy kind of bio and thanks his mom and his sister. It's like, it's funny.
Yeah.
Well, there you
Acting.
go. That's yeah.
Affleck.
Yes, that is all I had pretty much for a minute 40. Now, you've been very diligent in kind of, keeping to your own minutes, but now's your chance before we wrap it up. Is there anything you want us to keep an eye out for in a good or bad way coming up? Anything that you sticks in your head from the rest of the movie that you want us to think like, oh yeah, Catherine warned us about that? Or
Are you a Babu Frick fanatic?
Well, I mean, I love Babu Frick. I think he's a great addition. My real question, and maybe this is like something I should ask you after you're finished, is how you jibe, Pete, liking this movie with the thing that you said during Empire Minutes, where you said the first time we see Palpatine, it's like, this is where it all starts to go wrong.
Oh, yeah. Because
when it becomes about these creepy old space wizards, it's less the Star Wars that you love. And my God, is this movie filled with creepy old space wizards. So I'm curious how you put those two pieces together.
Because this is I like this movie within the space of all the other ones. Star Wars is up here, the original motion picture, is up here, and then everything else is down here, and it's a big swirl always of what.
I see.
Empire is kind of the gateway to that, right? I like it a lot, but it also opens up the door to all the rest of this, and everything else is kind of a big blob of stuff down. Well, except then Attack of the Clones is down here, but everything else in the middle is a big swirl of like, oh, could be my favorite this week or could not be, and it all kind of is relevant to each other. And within that, I feel like this does well, but it does. The gate's already been broken to the creepy space wizards and the all the other things that I don't like. But if I have to take that as a given, I feel like this one serves me well.
Okay, that's cool. That's an interesting answer, and I like it a lot. And I just, that was my main question. But I also, the only other thing that I want to have a look out for is how often the movie tricks you into enjoying unnecessary side quests. And the way that the whole situation on the casino planet is like, you can just like pull that out of The Last Jedi and move it over here, and it's just not. It doesn't have to be part of the movie. And I feel like this movie is far more entertaining than that casino sequence was, but it has a similar way that the side quests are just like, you could just take them out and remove them. It's so not necessary for 3PO to refuse to speak the black speech of Mordor. And that means it's unnecessary, that whole journey that they go on and his sacrifice and all that. It's just, you don't need it. You can just write it out with 2 lines. It's fine. And so the length of this movie, in my opinion, is unjustifiable due to side quests.
We'll keep that kind of going as we go. I think that is this the main quest or is this the side quest? But yeah, I think we've already established that we can. I mean, we cut out a lot of things we like. We cut out Babu Frick. We cut out a lot of the goofy stuff but you can just go from the beginning having them being like, open up the Jedi text and be like, yes, there's a Sith Wayfinder. The Emperor had one. Let's go to his old house and get it. And not have to go to Pisana or Kijimi or any of the other things. He left it in his Trans Am. Yeah, exactly.
He probably did drive a cool car, Palpatine.
Yeah, Trans Am.
There you go. Although it wouldn't be Am, right? It would be Trans Gal or something like that. Or
you can't say that.
I know, yeah.
Oh no!
We can say it here. We can't say it at Harry Potter Minute, but all right. Well, we will keep an eye out for those things. We will thank you for bringing your opinions, your expertise, and your what's the
Negativity?
Well, no, I wasn't going to say negativity. Your keen eye to this to talk about this movie with us. We loved having you on for a week this week, and if we're not sure what we're going to do in the future, but we're gonna definitely keep you in the Rolodex here.
Well, thank you. I do want to plug my book, Junk Film, which just came out on May 2nd, and it is a collection of essays about junk film. It opens up with a very long essay about Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is about half the book, and it's was previously published. And then I also talk about movies like Deathbed, The Bed That Eats, and Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, and television show Cop Rock, which is what it says on the tin, and books by Sean Penn and Amanda McKittrick Ross, which are both just absolutely terrible. I had a lot of fun for the past 5 years writing this book about bad movies, and maybe someday in the future I will write about good movies, but we'll see.
Why we're here.
Right. Well, yes, everybody check out the book. It's available wherever. Do you have a preferred way for people to get it?
Well,
Just
it's
go to the
available on
local?
Amazon
Okay.
very easily. If you can't bear Amazon, you can get it from barnesandnoble.com. It's not really in bookstores. You can also PayPal me $17 and I will send you a signed copy along with some swag. But that, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Amazon is an impersonal way to do it.
It's the
All
the most impersonal way. Well, what did we not plug? What are we going to plug, Alex? What have we not plugged so far this week?
Merch? We have done merch this week.
Have we? All right. Well, hey, speaking of impersonal ways to order things online, why not look at Alex? He's wearing a shirt and he's got a tapestry of the same design that come from StarWarsMinute.com/merch. I wasn't rocking it. Catherine earlier in the week was wearing a Star Wars Minute t-shirt, and we've got that. We've got stuff that you can get, and it's got our logos on them. I'm looking around. I don't have any. I've got a Star Trek one. Where's all my stuff? I got to get some stuff.
I will tell you that I have, and have for many months now, had an Alex Robinson piece of art on my computer desktop. It is something that I requested that he draw for me, and he did. And so I've left it on my desktop as a testament to the kindness of someone to fulfill a lifelong dream.
I'm very flattered.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Alex Robinson's art. That's why we started this. That's how this whole thing began, way back in ancient BBY times. And there's a lot of it to be seen there. And there's a lot of good. I highly recommend if you do a podcast, have a co-host who's an amazing artist, because it makes coming up with merch and stuff easier. Because you can just be like, hey, what about this dumb idea? And then he comes up with a terrific drawing for it.
Totally.
Go check those out on StarWarsMinute.com/merch. And we will. Catherine, thanks once again. Everybody else, thanks for listening. We'll see you on Monday with a brand new Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars
Minute.
Bye.
Bye.